You know, for the first time ever, I actually wrote a script for a video I intended to do for YouTube. I don't usually write scripts, you know, for the other shit I do. I know you probably don't know who I am, but I've done little comedy sketches and music and shit. And you know, obviously, there's certain points of that you script to a certain degree. You watch a lot of YouTube videos, and people are like, "You need to script your shit," and blah 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 blah. I usually don't. I just spitball it. Unfortunately, I didn't learn my script, so I'm gonna go off the premise of the script, I guess. Of course, the one that I want to have taken serious that I wrote a script for is the one that I don't fucking remember, right? Another problem that kind of hit me doing this. Well, let's just come flat out and say it. As crazy as it fucking sounds, and as improbable, as illogical it is to expect a response from a video like this, I'm still gonna make it because I might be slightly fucking nuts. I'm going to be the crazy ass who tries to reach the president via fucking YouTube and Twitter and social media and all that shit. Just a couple weeks before election day. Because scheduling and shit, right? Going into this, I am pretty sure a bunch of people are going to be like, you're just humiliating yourself here, but good thing for me is I'm a shameless fuck. So, I would like to say, before I get into all this, another thing that kind of hits that prevented me from doing too much of this for a couple days at least was, the president got COVID apparently. And regardless of how many people on the internet found it to be comical, I didn't. I'm sorry that you went through that, Mr. President, and I am extremely fucking happy that you made a recovery. You and your whole family. You know, it's crazy. I got my little script thing pulled up over here knowing that I can't read my scripts and do this. And it's ridiculous because I worded that great as hell. Like, that's just, it's wonderful. That's fantabulous wording in that. And I'm sitting here actually making the video using words like fucking fantabulous. Should be a fucking writer. Here's the whole gist of where I want to start with this. Because as I touch base on certain things, I feel like I will leave a lot of unanswered questions in this. And I do fully intend to provide these answers. So there will probably be quite a few follow-up videos to this one. And fuck it, you know, since we're just spitballing and the script's out the fucking window even though it's sitting right there, let's just get right into it. Because I've probably wasted enough time to where half the people have already clicked off this video. And whoever's left watching this video, I'm sure this is the point where you're definitely going to click off. I am a Trump supporter. How many people are left? I don't fancy myself as a conservative or a liberal. I feel like I bit my tongue. I don't identify as either Republican or a Democrat. And it's funny because, you know, I get thrown into a bunch of political conversations. I see myself as a fucking human being. There are good points to both sides. Given our recent options, I have to lean more towards the conservatives. One thing that we were talking about at work that is kind of conflicting about our current president, President Trump. The same reason why another individual close to my age doesn't like him is one of the main reasons why I do like him. It's his arrogance. Fuck that. There's a lot of better terms, so I'm not going to say for lack of a better term. I'm just choosing to say it this way. Dude's got balls. And I feel that's what America needs right now, is a leader with some fucking balls. Dude's not afraid to give a fuck you to anybody. I respect that. How many people in the streets don't like him, but that's the way you gotta live on the streets, is sometimes you need to just deliver a fuck you. I'm totally cool with having a president that does that. Here's my problem though. This is where things started to stir for me a little bit here, Mr. President. As much as I respect you and who you are as an individual, your personality, the way you handle shit, the way you ran this shit like daddy of this country. My understanding is the shit got taken down from Facebook because It depends on who you ask. Apparently the shit's biased and they're all liberal and shit, right? There was an ad going around Facebook for a while. Looked like President Trump was up in Boston or some shit with the way the cops were dressed and the stands and shit. I don't know where the fuck it was, and honestly, I don't care. What got me was, do you stand with President Trump and the police? I stand with one of them. I'll give you 50%. It's the best I can do. Don't ask for 350. You don't want me being 3 stories tall. You know what I'm saying? President Trump. There are a few examples in this script that I kind of sort of remember. Again, we're spitballing loosely on the script here. I'm sorry. I am the American I kind of expect you to be able to respect. I am an essential worker. The economy taking this hit with the COVID affected a good portion of my household finances. However, I have been one of the lucky few to not be laid off. I will credit a lot of that to my employer. He did everything he could to keep us working. I'll give him that. Pretty decent guy. I don't talk to him a lot, you know, so I mean, don't ask me his personality. That's not the point. If you can't tell, Mr. President, by the way I'm wandering off, I am probably the best example of the average American that you're expecting. I've come up from bad neighborhoods. Let's just put it that way. I have been quite ghetto in my youth, and if we're gonna be full-blown honest, from the first video, like I said, there's gonna be a few more, I'm sure. I was a teenager who screwed up a lot and ended up in the system quite quickly. I'm a grown man today, and like I said, I'm an essential employee. I've been working this whole time. You know, I have a family I provide for. I'm not the most intellectual individual. However, I'm not the dumbest ass that you could speak to, you know? I feel like I meet the requirements of what you expect of your American citizens. It's fair. And it's one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video. Because as much as I'm like, there's a lot of people out there who could argue these same points. How many of them could you actually respect as an individual? Let's just be honest about that. How many people are sitting there like, fuck the police right now? But they're doing it in such a way that you don't respect it. You're not hearing them. At least I don't feel like you're hearing them. And that's really what this stems from. With what I'm doing here. Mr. Trump, I know, President Trump, I am sorry. I know I've made the point in the script. So let me try to deliver it the way I wrote it. I mean no disrespect here. But I want to ask an honest question. We, the American people, know a good bit of your background. You are who you are. You've been everywhere. When people call you a racist, I love to bring up, does everybody forget Bobby Lashley? You know, I'm sure you get that. Wrestling fans get that. A lot of the world's like, who the fuck is Bobby Lashley? Actually, sometimes when I see people calling you a racist, I'll go up and I'll put like a little jiffy comment of, you know, Bobby Lashley doing the whole like, shit that he did. Mr. President, you have been rich, wealthy. You got a fuck ton of money for as long as we've known you. You know, it's brought up how you were referenced in the hip-hop community for so long until you became how you were referenced in the hip-hop community so often because of your wealth until you became the president. It's not news to anybody that cops are biased. Cops can be paid off. Cops, a lot of them are dirty as shit. I'm not saying that you've paid off cops, but maybe some of them were just influenced by your position for so long that maybe you yourself have not had to deal with any personal experiences involving dirty cops. A lot of us, though, have, including me. Me personally, I'm dealing with a situation where my entire local government is corrupted. And you should know this because to my understanding, we've had the FBI at our capital asking for records left and right. I am a resident of Alabama. If that does anything for you. I don't know. Mr. President, I will give you my word. since all this rioting, looting, and all this other crazy stuff has been going on, I have not appeared at so much as a civil protest. I can't take the chance with the way my local government is. I can't. I would love to actually stand up to this system. I kind of feel like that's what I'm doing at this moment. This is probably the best way to do it. I know people who have been at a protest in downtown Huntsville, and they told me how quickly things got out of hand with the cops down there. This is not, people taking one story and then flipping it to another person, going up their superior to go up to another chain to finally come up to you, but for you to get whatever bullshit version of the story that you're getting. A lot of people are showing up at these protests recording. Mr. President, I want to know, and I'm accepting that you probably won't answer, but I'd still like to ask. Is there anything you plan to do about these cops? Is there anything you plan to do about local governments in general? Y'all the feds. Y'all dominate. And there's a lot of American citizens who could really use your help. A lot of this rioting and looting is honestly just retaliation. People got fed up for years. I get it. I respect it, honestly. As I've sat here and attempted to be entertaining as I delivered an intelligent argument, and I may have failed, I hope you understand that I'm a level-headed individual, and I'm sitting here telling you I understand. And I think that's what would make the difference if you actually seen my video in comparison to everything else you've been seeing. Maybe somebody who's gonna talk to you real as hell, maybe that would make a point to you better than people just burning shit down, Which, that part I've never agreed with. Don't destroy your own neighborhood. I agree. People don't need to lose their livelihoods, the businesses that they have built. I can't tell you how to do your job. You can't really tell me how to do my job. We have the positions we have, and we've held them for as long as we have, because we know what we know. And sure, you can always learn more. It's shit. I could, there's a lot more I could learn about my job. I'm one of the better ones in my position. I highly respect it. I do feel. You should be too. That's my opinion, at least. Mr. President, let me throw a hypothetical at you. You're not rich. I don't know how far back you've got to go to put yourself back in that mentality. My understanding is you got a loan to start your businesses when you were like 18, 19, and it took you a year to flip it. You a hustler. I respect that too. A lot of people in the streets respect that. That's another thing I'd like the people in the streets to think about. You started in debt. To the little bit of research I've done, you started in debt. You put yourself in debt, flipped it, got yourself out of debt, and then started profiting, like a year or two later? That's respectable as hell. And that ain't me riding your nuts, That's me just being real about it. But put yourself in a position where you're not rich. People don't give a damn who you are. You have no influence. What if you were harassed continuously by a cop? What if his family, his friends started harassing you? What if his reach of harassment ultimately stripped you of your children, your civil rights, stripped you of everything? You're an average hardworking individual and they took $5,000 from you. You don't make minimum wage. You make a little bit more than minimum wage. That's a brief outline of what I myself have dealt with, which is why I'm probably going to have to make a few more videos to explain that. Would you not want to retaliate? Would you not want justice? Because as you take it through the system further screws you. You don't get justice. Your children don't get justice. You're not worth it. You are the American taxpayer, and you're not worth it. I am not a lawyer at all, Mr. President. I actually sat down with a couple of your federal agents. I say yours, you probably never met them in person, but they work for the FBI. And I had a conversation with a couple of them. They gave me some information, and then they kind of set me out on a path. Like, we don't have time to answer all your questions because you came in here with 6 pages full of questions. But let me point you in this direction, that direction. You can find the answers. I have been studying a lot about law, prior court cases that have actually influenced changing or defining specifications within laws, you know. I've learned a lot. I have. Everything that I myself have been subjected to is completely and utterly unconstitutional. My research tells me that these individuals who have done this to me are known as public employees. I'm a member of the public. You know, there's a lot of videos online that I would suggest. Shit, I might make you a playlist and just attach it here for you to watch whenever you want to. There's a lot of people online. They're called auditors. It's another thing I recently got into. And some of these auditors are probably at my level of education, maybe a little bit lower than me, and they think it's a good idea to go out and test this shit. One thing that I have noticed that they all get wrong is the concept of I'm a member of the public, so they work for me. Now, theoretically, that's how it works. You are not their specific superior. However, to know that without your tax dollars, these individuals are not getting paid, and their technical term is a public employee, and they will do these types of things to members of the public. I went a little Ron White on that one. It's disgusting. Abuse of power is a horrible thing. Unfortunately, Mr. President, it's a pretty common fucking thing. I don't mean to have that type of tone with you. I just want you to feel the passion. The truth. Can I ask you, Mr. President, what would you do for us, the American citizens? Because again, I live in Alabama. This is a corrupted ass state. You can find loads and loads and loads on how much they violate people's constitutional rights in this state. However, it's a fucking red state. Like, you got supporters here. I'm an Alabama resident asking, what would you do to help us, Alabama residents? We support you. Shit, honestly, I think everyone in this state's biggest fear, if anyone here got to see this video, their biggest fear is, please don't let Biden respond to this motherfucker before Trump. I'm not originally from here. That's the reason why I talk differently than, by the way, sir. You know, as I keep on glancing back at this script, I feel like it would be a really good idea for me to just read the fucking thing one time. Because the wording in that and the wording that I'm presenting is just huge difference. Now, Mr. President, I'd also like to make one point. One major key point in this. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm not. I'm just saying I could present a lot of examples and where a good chunk of them are. As a matter of fact, there's something I was saying. I was trying to get the point across. Somebody put it in a meme, and I was like, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. The meme went something along the lines of, you can have 1,300 bad cops, 200 good cops. But if the good cops don't do anything about the bad cops, then you actually have 1,500 bad cops. It went something along those lines, right? And that's the point that I've been getting at, you know. I've met cops who give a damn about doing their job to a certain degree. But it's like they have this code of loyalty. They have this oath, one that they frown upon in gangs. You know, like I said, I've been in a lot of stupid areas. And in my youth, yeah, I'm not that old, but like, you know, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, you know, I put myself in a lot of stupid ass situations. And I've been there. I've heard the conversations with cops. I've been in the conversations with cops. And how much is no snitching frowned upon? How much is this gang loyalty is going to do nothing but ruin your life? You need to get out and make a difference. Take down the bad guys. Blah. What about y'all? They don't ever look in the mirror when they say that shit. The last county I lived in before I got here, I'm going to rank it at like a 95% of crooked ass fucks. I moved to this county. A whole new slate. And every interaction I've had with a cop up until one point proved that these guys are cooler, they're more chill. I don't know if it makes a difference because these guys are required to wear body cams and those assholes ain't. And I'm not saying I broke a lot of laws when I got here. You know, I've dealt with a lot of harassment where people have continuously called cops on me. And again, I had nothing but respect up until a certain point. A lot of these cops are cool. There's one cop in particular that I have his card laying around here somewhere just because I'm like, you know, whenever I do stand up, I want to make a point that this is a prime example of a good cop. This guy, my ex-wife caused a situation with him, and I didn't agree with everything that he did to handle the situation. But at the end of the situation, I do feel he did his job appropriately and accommodated both of us. Yeah, that's another video all its own. But I just want to use it as an example, because if there's anybody else that's watching this video thinking I'm a dumbass for trying to make it, I want to make a point. I do. Anyone who can sit there and say every single cop is bad is making a statement equivalent to that of every black person will rob you, every Mexican will rape your daughter, every Asian's good at math. It's a stereotype. It's profiling, one way or another. You know, everything that I use as an example may have been racial profiling, but it's still the fact. You know, you see a black guy wearing a blue t-shirt, he has to be a Crip? Not necessarily. I feel a lot of things have gotten out of hand. You know, I'm not the only person to think this year has been completely fucked. There's a lot of things that divide people in this country, Mr. President. You know, in my opinion, as much as your decisions, your actions, or your, let's just say personal agenda. Fuck it. Everything about you, a lot of people can't respect. I see everything. I hear everything that I get, because, you know, like, I don't get too deep into politics. But everything I get from you, I'm like, I really feel like he's doing what he thinks is necessary for the American people. And he don't give a fuck. He's going to get it done. I respect that. I feel like you're a man of the people. That's why I support you. I am scared shitless you're going to prove me wrong. Thus the attempt to reach out to you. I hope, Mr. President, with everything I am, I hope that I can get an answer from you. Fuck me. Fuck me. I hope the American people can get an answer from you. Particularly the Alabamians. A war veteran. It's at Muscle Shoals, Florence. Something a little west of here. I believe he was having a seizure. Maybe he had a stroke. Them cops didn't call him medical assistance. One of them dropped their camera. And didn't drop it right. 3 cops beat a wounded veteran. A veteran who put his life on the line for this country, the freedoms that we have. If he didn't do his job, how many countries would have invaded us and you would not have your job, Mr. President? I wouldn't have the right to make this video. They humiliated him. They degraded him. And beat the ever-living shit out of him. What about the young black boy in Huntsville? All he was doing was going home. Got pulled over racial profiling. What about the cops out in Ardmore who illegally searched a vehicle that a 16-year-old was driving? What about the cops down in, Blount County, who arrested an attorney illegally? What about Mike Blakely, Judge Patterson? What about the cop down in Montgomery who stole $750,000 of federal money that was used for the jail? Well, it was intended to be used for the jail. Instead, they ate a lot of corn dogs and that motherfucker bought a beach house. There seems to be a big thing about sheriffs, other high-ranking authorities taking money. I mean, there was one in Morgan County. Shit, I think there was 2 in Morgan County, if I'm not mistaken. There've been quite a few. Limestone County. What about Coleman? Shit, the word is Coleman still got the signs up. They just let the moss grow over them. They refuse to take it down. I mean, I'm not against the Confederate flag. I'm not the most religious person, but I'm not against, you know, your 10 Commandments standing at the Capitol. What I am against, I don't care if it's a piece of history. I don't care. The signs of "Don't let the sun go down on your black ass" should not still be standing in Coleman. It's just my understanding that they are. You know, I believe that our governor should be more concerned with handling these local authorities instead of putting new toll booths up and worrying about who in the hell needs a vasectomy. That's my personal opinion. What about you, Mr. President? Alabama's not the only one fucked up like this. We're living in a world where people are trying to go all pro-pedo and shit. I'll kill me a pedophile. That's probably the countryest statement I made this whole video. I'll kill me. And I'm just being honest with you about that because I want you to know that you're speaking to an honest, upfront individual. I'm not going to hide who I am. If I feel someone needs an ass whipping, I might just deliver that ass whipping. But you must really need it because I ain't trying to go to jail for nothing. If you actually took the time to watch this video, Mr. President, I appreciate it. And you gain that much more of my respect because who the fuck am I to you? You know, I'm another one in how many million, you know? If you took the time to watch this video, then I will take that as you actually give somewhat of a fuck about the American people. Not to say that, you know, I don't think you give a fuck about us at all, but when you make a statement that you expect us to stand with you and the police, I get it. You want the violence to cease. I respect that. But would you make the same stand with us? I think that's an important question as well. If you actually watch this, Mr. President, I thank you for your time, and I hope to hear back from you.